Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Team Revival team call of January 31st. Ooh, the last day of January. So today we're actually going to dive back into some social media stuff. We're actually going to be sharing some information of stuff we just learned. Social media, I don't want to say tricks because they're not tricks, but things that are working on social media right now. So it's going to be some very specific tips and stuff, some stuff about Instagram, some stuff about Facebook, and we're just going to dive in and go for it. But first, Jessica, do you have some I'm going to unmute you. Do you have some stuff to share with us?
I do. Oh, am I unmuted? Okay, there we go. Yes, okay, so last day to register for Summit with that price, the $145 price. So if you're going and you got like the urge to do it, you've got a few more hours left to get that really super good deal. Summit is going to be awesome this year because I'm going to be there for the first time. Okay, and what else? Summit Team Cup is getting started. If you're not on, I'm guessing everybody here is on a team, right? Is everybody on a team? Yes?
I don't think everybody is, but a lot of us are.
What? Okay, if you're not on a team, you still have a little bit of time to do that. Reach out, we'll scramble, we'll put some kind of team together if you want one, because it is a serious momentum builder. We've already got several rank advances planned for our team. It's going to be great. Next thing, everybody's been waiting for this. On the 15th, the resistance loops will be sold individually.
Oh. Awesome.
So that is very exciting. The February challenge pack promotion, the $10 off, is coming in again tomorrow, February 1st. Means they'll get $10 off any of the challenge pack, completion packs. That's very great. We can utilize that during Team Cup as an extra incentive. They get the extra $10 off. Seriously exciting. And then I need to investigate this a little bit more, but I think, if I was reading this right this morning, we didn't used to get point volume for apparel. That was always a 0, but I believe starting tomorrow, we will start getting point volume on apparel, which is very exciting. It says that we will get between 45 and 49. It'll be rounded up to 50 for apparel.
Wow.
To help anybody stay active if they're feeling like they have too much product, which you shouldn't. But if you do and you want clothes, amazing!
Yeah.
That's so exciting. And I think that is it. That's it from last week. So
Awesome. Does anybody have any recognition they want to shout out for people or anything guys? FYI, we can always recognize ourselves. I know that sounds ridiculous. We can always recognize ourselves. But I say that in a way of like, if you did something that you accomplished last week and you're proud of it, this isn't a place of bragging. This is a place of you probably worked for that and it was probably scary and hard and you should be proud and we should all support you because as a family, that's what we should be doing, right? So if you've got anything that you did last week that you're proud of, throw it out. Jessica, you have something? You look at me like you're about to say.
Yeah, I am. I'm super proud. I got my invite to the next trip today. Woo!
Yes, ma'am. That's
and on a more business, like this week level, Jen and I are both, really trying to take our advice from Justin to heart each week when we talk to him on our one-on-ones. And, both of us have been tasked with kind of getting our system more organized and being consistent. And while it didn't exactly work out every day like I wanted to, I could tell I'm tracking it better, getting better. And I know Jen is doing the same thing. She's been following the system that he's been teaching us. And I think that's going to translate to a really good Team Cup. So I'm proud of us for that.
Awesome. And guys, heads up. Sorry, I've got some of my glasses. Heads up, this Saturday morning at 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll actually be doing a large team, we call it Power Hour, a live Power Hour on Zoom, just like this, where we will literally go through, we'll start the call and be like, okay, the first thing we're going to do is everybody go on your computer. You need to do this from your computer, so don't do it from your phone. It's going to be really hard. Do it from your computer, laptop, desktop, whatever. And we're going to go in and be like, this is the first thing. And I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I use every day, the exact process that a lot of other people use. If you're already on Teams, you're using another component, we'll still do the same process. You'll just log it a different way, but you'll understand. But aside from that, we're just going to walk through those processes. So you have, especially for the newer coaches, so you have a really good idea of, oh, okay, this is how we do it. This is what we do, as well as it gives you an opportunity to ask any questions you may have so we can navigate those concerns as a team, all of us, right? It's not just me telling you what, like you might have a question that I might say one thing and maybe, Jen or Jessica or, Amy or anybody, right, has another answer. They're like, actually try this. And I was like, oh, that's a good, I haven't really thought about that, right? So there are a lot of things to kind of take from that. So make sure that if that's something you want to be a part of, let us know. I did put a link in our Team Cup team group message, but of course not everybody is in that. So it will probably be I think it's the same link as we use here. But either way, reach out and ask, and I'll make sure that you get the link so that you can join that. And that'll be again 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time this weekend on Saturday. I think I have to look at it again. So I think it's on Saturday. So don't quote me. But I don't think it's on Saturday. It can't be on Sunday. So all righty, let's jump into the call. Oh, hey, look who joined us. I know. Don't you hate that? Like, isn't that annoying when people do that? Like, oh, thanks for joining us. Like, when you're late to class in high school and your teacher said that, and you're like, yeah, you got that response. That's exactly what happens. Okay, so we're going to dive back into social media. And the reason that we're diving back into this, is because I want to share the information that we get. Like, this is really all we do, right? Is just try to share what we're doing and what information we get to best help anybody else, right? Social media is such a massive part of what we do. It is probably one of the largest parts. Like inviting is always the number kind of one business growing activity that we need to do. But with that said, there are a lot of things that when you do invite somebody, they're going to check out your social media. How do you invite people if you don't bring in people to your social media, right? Like if you're not adding friends to your network, you're not telling these people. If we're not doing this other stuff, right, with social media, it gets harder to have people that are able to relate and trust and know us, right, and be able to connect with us. That makes it harder for us to actually do the invite without it being cold. So while the invitation process is epically important, it's absolutely foundational to what we do and to being able to help people, there's also the social media aspect that is just as important and just as big of a deal when it comes to being the foundation for the invite process. So all the little things, we want to make sure that you guys know these things and that we're all kind of keeping up to date on them, because just like in any business, that's what makes one business more successful than the next, is to continue to learn what's going on and what works and what doesn't work. So I'm going to share a few things. Both of these, some of these are for Facebook, some of these are for Instagram, and then some of them are both, just social media in general. So obviously, we all know, I think at this point, that we don't do stuff like, don't post links in your post, right? Like, don't just take a post something and put a link in it, right? Because at the end of the day, Facebook knows, hey, there's a link here, and Facebook's job and their purpose is to keep people on Facebook. This is what they want to do. So why would they want to take you and remove you to go over to YouTube and some other competitive site? They want to keep you here. So if you put us a link in the post, Facebook's not going to show it to anybody because they don't want anybody to see it, because they don't want anyone clicking on it, right? So just remember, like, little stuff like that. We don't brand, we don't talk about Shakeology, we don't talk about Beachbody, we don't talk about all that stuff. We'll get into a little bit more of that later on. But I think the basic stuff that we all kind of know. So one other thing for Facebook specifically, and John and I used to train people to do this because we were trained to do this. Speaking specifically right now, Facebook does not want you to do anything that deals with what do they call it? Sorry, I got to read this. Engagement bait. Okay, so engagement bait is basically, hey, comment below if you're interested in this. Hey, like this. Hey, share this. Hey, have you ever been curious about this? Pop me a private message. Those kinds of things, Facebook finds those, will see those, that verbiage, and they just don't show it to people, right? They don't want people to see it because they want real, true, honest interaction. And what they recognize is they recognize that people, okay, this is actually the great thing. This is what I actually like about what we get to do. None of us want to be salesmen, right? Nobody started this because they want to be a salesman. Nobody does this to be a salesman. And what's icky is when you see on Facebook people being sales, when they're leading with promotion and not emotion, right? They're diving in and just being like, look at this, Beachbody, 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 sale, buy this, buy. No one likes that. Facebook gets that. They understand that that's not what people want to see. So what they do is when they see things like, oh, comment below, they recognize that there's a purpose for you doing that. And you're trying to get more eyes on that. And then they realize, well, if they're trying to get more eyes on this, they must be selling something through their private page. Well, I don't want that, so we're not going to show it to anybody. So now we have to be a little bit more creative with the way that we get people to respond to that stuff. So one of the ways we do that is we just don't say things like comment below, I'll do stuff like, hey, let me know, fingers, below, like let me know, something like that. If I'm honest, I don't even know if that is a good idea completely. It was just one of the things I came up with real quick to figure out how do I get people, because you have to tell them what to do, right? Another way is live video, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later, but they don't catch it in video.
Okay, I wondered, so engagement posts, sometimes we think of the like, which outfit should I wear posts, right? Yeah. Can we still do that?
You can ask opinions, right? So you can say things like they want true, honest, natural interaction. So from what I understand, they want to see, Gianna said they want to see you ask people for their opinions. Hey, what's your opinion on this? And then
I thought it might be a good idea to stay away from graphics that have an A and a B, and then like making it real obvious. Today I just posted a side by side of earrings, and I was like, which earrings should I wear? But I didn't I just thought if that's still okay. I was curious.
I would say that's like perfect. They're actually, what they do is it's algorithms, right? So they look for specific sayings, specific wording. So comment below, message me, like this, right? Those kinds of things they catch and they go, nope, I don't, we don't, hey, share this, those types of things. So you're really staying away from that, but they want natural interaction. So saying, hey, which of these do you like? I think is a natural interaction. That's asking for real, honest engagement. And so they're not driving, as far as I understand, they're not lowering that engagement on those. Okay, so we're going to move into Instagram, and then we're going to come back, and a lot of it speaks actually towards Facebook as well. Instagram specific, raise your hand if you're using Instagram. I'm trying to get into it. I know Dion it is. Okay, good. All right, so some people on here. So if you're using Instagram, here are some things specific to Instagram. First of all, Instagram stories. Like, that's just where it's at. That's what everybody does. That is like, if the more people that are watching your stories and the more interaction you have on your stories, apparently, the more people will actually see your posts too. The more Instagram shows people that, oh, look, they're having interaction. So they must be friends. They must be people that obviously want to see that post. So they're going to be sharing that with more of those people that are interacting. It's just the easiest way to get people to get eyes on you right now is Instagram stories. A lot of coaches have been talking about that for a while, about how well they've been doing with Instagram stories and just having more people see them, right? So one thing that you can do with Instagram stories is create a schedule form, right? Now, stories is something I struggle with. I'm trying to move into Instagram a little bit, but I'm trying to take baby steps because I will stop here. Let me back up. If you're a new coach and you are 100% on Facebook right now, okay, I believe honestly that you will want to transfer over at some point. You'll want to move into Instagram. With that said, your following right now is on Facebook. You know how to use Facebook. Great. Start here. When you get comfortable with all the necessary actions here to do this well and use this as the tool to help people, then once that becomes comfortable, we can move into adding the baby steps of Instagram. Do not just go back and forth and try to do them both right now. Okay, so focus on one. Let's get solid there. Then we'll move into Instagram. With that said, we will, I think a lot of people are going to be moving towards a minimum of Instagram as just a buffer to create 2 opportunities to reach more people, at most actually transitioning into that. Let's see, what did you say, Justice? My favorite feature is being able to share your Instagram post directly to Facebook as you see the post. Okay, so there is one thing about that. When you do that, it shows posted from Instagram, right? And so Gianna, share with me that you had some like issue with that, of why that's actually why you shouldn't do that. That sounds terrible, man. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to say it rudely.
Can you hear me? No?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I fixed it. Okay. That's why I was typing, because I was having issues. So from my understanding, and again, like, this is the awesome thing about our business. We can get frustrated and go, gosh, things are always changing, but it's kind of awesome. It's always going to be changing and evolving. So my understanding is you don't want to share it over because the algorithms are different. So what you actually want to do, and it takes a couple of seconds extra, is just copy and paste that stuff. Because I share all my content is the same, but I actually copy the post and then I paste it to Facebook and then I put the photo. So it's an added step. But from my understanding, that's the best way to do it. So it's like 2 different platforms versus sharing it over.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bev. So again, talking about stories specifically, one of the things they do want to see is they want engagement in those stories. So ask people's opinion in the story. Do the little polls, right? Do that stuff that's going to get people to engage in that. And then as they're messaging you, it gives you the perfect opportunity to go through anybody that's looked at it, to send them a message and thank them and, start a conversation with them or whatever. But also, again, it shows that, hey, there's engagement here, so they're going to start seeing more of the posts that you make in their timeline. Sorry, I'm going to go back to Facebook doesn't want other platforms showing up. Petition pulling that. Exactly. So one of the ways that, like, one of the things that she said where I got this training that I thought was a really good idea is, so first of all, like she said, set a schedule. Like, figure out, okay, every morning I'm going to do this, and that. Like, a lot of coaches will be like, yeah, every morning I'm going to take a quick, like, this is my sunshine, my daily sunshine, and I'm drinking my Energize, right? And like every morning it's that same kind of thing, like a different way or whatever, right? They just kind of create a framework, and then they just boom. She did say about 7 stories a day is about right. Okay, too much more, and people just start to, and I noticed, it's funny because I didn't know any of this, but I noticed that if I see 75 lines at the top of that screen, I'm just because I don't have time to sit there for 75. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's too much. And I just scroll right through it. But if I see a few, I'll watch them, right? So they say it's kind of that squirrel mentality. Does Amy Silverman do that? Oh, yeah. So they're saying now, like, but okay, now with that said, Amy Silverman's also spent years creating a massive following. So guys, this is why taking inspiration from top coaches is great, but trying to follow them 100% and just do what they do doesn't work. They've kind of created, most of them at that point have created the ability to do things, right? They have earned the right, if you will, to do things with social media that some of us have not earned yet, because we just haven't done it long enough. We don't have that kind of phone. We don't understand it. We don't have that kind of presence yet. So they can get away with things that we can't really get away with at this point. So for everybody else that's not a top 10 coach, which is all of us, me for sure, right? Just stick to like 7 stories, she says, is kind of a magic number. So that's what I'm sticking with. But definitely use it to, ask people's opinion and stuff like that. They also said, follow hashtags that you like follow hashtags that you actually enjoy. So follow those, because then you come up in those favorites or whatever. I don't understand that part because I don't know enough about Instagram, but that's just what she said. So I'm repeating it. Do not use hashtags in the comments like we used to, right? So no longer use them in the comment section. We used to put 30 hashtags, as many as possible, and you would say the first comment. That's what used to work, apparently, right? Now saying that's not what works. What works now is to put them in the actual post. But instead of using 30, you find 5-ish, about 5, that are a little bit more unique. So when you type in a hashtag on that post, right, you're going to notice that there's a little number on there, right? So it shows you basically how many posts are using that hashtag. She says you want it to be more than like 1,000 because you need to have a few people actually looking at it, right? But you don't want it like 1 million or 200,000. It's like around the 2,000 number, 2,500, somewhere in that range, or a little bit more. That's about the right amount. It's popular enough, but it's not so popular that nobody's ever going to see your post in that hashtag. They're searching the hashtag because there's too many other posts, right? So it's 5 in the actual post, 5. And that are a little bit unique. Now, she was giving away some ideas on how to kind of make them unique, because a lot of times we'll do stuff like, Fitness Friday or fitness or whatever. She's saying, okay, cool. Find a little adjective before and after, right? Like, like instead of Flex Friday, right? Maybe it's like Flex Friday, but maybe it's like, Buff Flex Friday or whatever, something random, or Flex Friday and the little arm thing, right? Like next to it, a little arm emoji. So use emojis and kind of find hashtags that are in that 3,000 range or whatever. And then again, and put them in the comments. She said you also take words, so the script that you write in the post, find words in there. If you use like, hey man, I'm drinking my wake up juice here while I'm trying to get ready for the day or whatever, hashtag wake up juice, whatever. See, like use the words that you use in the actual post itself, or the body of the post, and find hashtags related to those, right? If you can't think of like, oh, this is just about, fitness. Well, I'm drinking this, getting ready for my workout, right? Well, then use whatever you're drinking and getting ready for my workout or whatever it is. Wearing my blue shirt, hashtag blue shirt, that kind of stuff. So that is another thing. Do not use in the comments. Okay, sorry. Use the words, make it unique. Okay, and another thing is mix up your hashtags. So it used to be that we said, hey, look for 30 hashtags and then just use those. Just copy paste. Maybe you have a couple different, like maybe one about fitness, one about coaching, one about life, right? And you kind of do these different little things, and then you would just use them, the same ones over and over. Said, do not do that. Instagram recognizes it. They don't want it, so they don't show it. So just don't do that anymore. So what they want you to do now is use different hashtags, right? Try to find unique hashtags. Now this takes a second longer. It's okay, right? You'll get used to it. Yes, you'll probably use some similar ones more often than the others, but try to mix them up a little bit. So just, if you're mixing up 3 out of the 5, great. But don't just copy and paste, bang, 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 the same ones over and over and over again. Another thing is do not, and the thought is that this might be true for Facebook as well, but with Instagram, do not edit your post within 24 hours. So if you mess up on the post, don't edit it. Let it be, let it roll for 24 hours, then you can edit it. But for whatever reason, it says it will get less traction if you edit it right after you post it. So just leave it unedited and let it stay, and then do it. I don't know why, if there's an algorithm that shows that to less people, there's something that pins like a concern about that. I don't know, but maybe it red flags it somehow. But whatever it is, this is what they're saying. So I'm going with it because they know more than I do. Okay, so this goes really for both of them. For this is kind of both of them in general and social media in general. Your engagement absolutely counts. So here's the great thing. We all know at this point, or I hope we know, and if we don't know, this is going to help you. So Facebook and Instagram, everybody, they want engagement. So they want people talking, right? The way they know that you have a valuable post is by the engagement on it. So if there's more engagement, their goal is to show more people more of what they want to see. That's how people stay on their platform. So if they're showing more people what they want to see, the way they know what they want to see is by the amount of engagement that's happening on these posts. So they say, well, hey, Justin's getting a lot of engagement on this. I'm going to make sure that more of his friends see this post because people are talking about it. They must like it, right? It must be exciting. So here's the great thing. What we would say before is we'd say, okay, make sure that you go in after you post something, and if anybody that responds to it, you make sure that you respond to their post. So they figured out a couple other things. First of all, they figured out that about 4 words, for whatever reason, 4 words are actually up the engagement. Less than that doesn't change the engagement. So if you respond to somebody, maybe somebody says, hey, you look great, and you just be like, thumbs up, thanks, that kind of stuff, doesn't do anything for you. However, if you go, oh my gosh, thanks, right? Oh, wow, thank you so much. Now that is actually an engagement boost. So it actually helps your engagement, so more people are going to see it. Another thing they said is what you can also do is actually say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Comment, next comment. By the way, how are you? Now, your engagement in there, those 2 comments look as though it's the same as other people commenting. So it's extra engagement. So it's another level higher in that priority list of things that are getting posted out. So now, don't go in and start like writing a book in 74 different comments to 1 comment, right? Like, don't do that. But definitely, I'll break them up now and be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. By the way, how have you been? Or, by the way, I love your shirt in your profile. Or, and ask a question or whatever it is. But keep in mind 4 words or more, and you can actually boost your engagement by commenting in multiple comments. I'm going to check the chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yes, we're still, we're actually talking both right now. Right? So this is going to be both for Instagram as Facebook. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So for really both, you guys ready for this? It's true. I know a lot of us aren't going to like to hear this one. Live video is key. Who's scared of a live video? Be honest. Who does not want to go live? Most people, right? Okay. So here's the thing. This is what they found. Live video literally gets, and this is for both, gets 6 times more engagement, more priority than anything else you post. So the next highest priority, you're going to get 6 times that priority if you go live. Now, I fully understand that it is scary. I fully understand that it is uncomfortable. I'm fully aware of that. Here's the kind of process we have to think about in our mind. For me, right now, when I look at what this business has done for us, the opportunity is there, what it's creating, how many lives we are able to impact in some way, shape, or form, right? When I recognize the ability that, or the impact that this has had on my life because somebody else got uncomfortable, that helped us out, right? Somebody that invited me to this opportunity, right? For me, when I look at what that is, that weighs way more in my mind than any bit of uncomfortable I could be over doing something live. I go live. It's really uncomfortable. I love talking about coaching. I love talking about coaching. Like, I will talk about it till the day is end. Like, it is one of my favorite things. The coaching up is one of my favorite things to talk about. I actually really enjoy video. I don't love talking about the coaching opportunity on video. I enjoy it, but it freaks me out because I get fucking emotional every single time. And I hate that. But every single time, it never fails. I can't not do it. I don't know why. And I'm always like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So every time I'm all anxious the whole damn time before we get set up. I'm writing stuff down. And I try to like plan it out as much as I can so that I can keep it kind of robotic almost, so I can just go on so I don't have to deal with it. But at the end of the day, I recognize that, look, okay, so it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to be frustrating, but this shit is worth so much more than that. It's not worth it for me to be like, that's why I'm not going to do it. It's just not worth it. Way too much to gain, way too much to lose. It's just not worth it to me. So you got to get to a place where you just go, okay, this is going to be one of those uncomfortable things that I'm going to do, but I'm going to grow from. Because of this is what's going to make me successful in this. So those moments in time where you're uncomfortable, that's what's going to make you a successful coach. That's what we ask of people to do for us in our groups with us. That's what we have to ask of ourselves. So just kind of recognize that, but 6 times the engagement within or 6 times the visibility, sorry. Within those videos, this is the perfect time to actually ask people's opinions, right? So here's one of the great things. When we ask in those videos, they don't see it the same way as they see it in an algorithm of the post. So what happens is you can say, hey man, let me know below, let me know what's up. What are you feeling like? How are you? Show me an emoji. Hey, if you agree with this or if you got questions, hey, you know what? Man, this group is amazing. I can't believe I've got this incredible group out here of people online that are killing this workout. They're really helping me out, man. Like, they're really honestly, they're keeping me so engaged with this, It's amazing. I'm so happy that I found these kinds of tools to change my life like this, If it's something you're struggling with, don't hesitate. Throw an emoji below. I'll make sure I'll message you. But it's just been such an incredible transformation. That kind of stuff, right? You just got to throw it in, comment below. You can do that in a live video. You can't do that in a post anymore. So it becomes our avenue, right? So we end up having to get over the concerns of going live. So, so always, ask for people's opinions. When you're going live, you're really wanting to get engagement. So a lot of this here is going to be kind of speaking specifically to when we go live, how do we do it, right? So there's next few ones, just so you know. So another one thing about being live is, they say is be bright and be brief. And so here's what this means. Be bright means good lighting, okay? It doesn't mean like it's got to be studio lighting. It means that you've got to be lit, right? You will never see me in a video where there's not a lot of lighting. I have a light right over here. I've got this one that I turn on when we're doing live, other stuff. I'm getting enough light from this one. I've got another one in the other room. Sometimes I'll bring out 2 lights and I'll put one here, and I'll have some, like another one over here behind off camera, so the backlights. Like, I do a lot of that stuff because it's when they're going through the newsfeed, people don't, if they see super dark and they can't see anything, It's just like seeing a fuzzy photo. You're not going to stop, right? So you're just not going to pay attention. So you need to see the bright look. You also need to see a smile. Like, let people know that this is live video. This is the beauty of live video. It allows people to really connect with you. They see who you are. It's the same thing in the difference between voice inflection and just reading a text. There's a very different emotion attached when you read a text versus when you hear somebody say something. And when you're reading text on a post, it's a very different experience in how you relate to the person than it is when you're seeing them and literally physically hearing them actually speak. It's a totally different ballgame. And it's really a game changer for so many of us. It's such an incredible opportunity. So that's one of the things that we want to make sure is when we're going live, that we look approachable, right? And the simple way we do that is just smile. Like I actually am kind of bad at that, to be honest, because I don't really smile a lot, like in general, not because I'll laugh and stuff, but I don't love my smile. So I don't go like all the time, right? Like I'm not that person. So it's actually a struggle for me, right? But where I try to make up for that in enthusiasm and charisma, right? So when I'm talking, and I use my hands a lot like this, because I guess it's a speech impediment if I don't. But and then lighting and stuff like that. So we try to engage people in that scenario as well. It's really, really, really important. So good lighting, smile, be confident. Does anybody raise your hand if you understand what posturing is? Okay. Jessica does a little bit. Okay. So Patrick does. Awesome. Posturing is absolutely imperative to what we do in being successful. Posturing there's a huge difference. And I'm going to stand up so you can actually see this. Imagine if I walk into a party, okay? I don't know anybody in this party. I walk into this party. It's brand new. I'm a new person. I walk in and I go like this. And I just kind of walk in and I'm like looking around a little bit. And I kind of go over and stand by the corner and I'm like this, okay? Now, that's a posture of me being insecure, concerned, scared, right? I'm very withheld and I'm in here, right? Does anybody in their right mind look at this and want to naturally walk over and say, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? No, it's very closed off, right? And it's very insecure and it doesn't make you want to engage with me. But if I walk in and I'm chest up, right? And I'm standing up, I'm standing tall and I look around, I'm like, hey, how's it going? I love that jacket, right? And I start talking and acting confidently, naturally people are going to come to me, right? They're going to be drawn to me. It's the reason that con men are actually confidence men, right? People believe in confidence. That's how all of that works. So really what posturing is when you're on live, it's recognizing what you're going to say. You come on, you have a purpose, right? You know what you're going to say, you know what you're going to talk about, you're going to do it, and you're going to be confident about it, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to know everything about it. I can confidently speak about stuff I don't know by saying, look, I don't know everything about this. Here's what I did learn, right? Like I can still act confidently with just the way my body posturing is and the way I sit tall and the way I talk and the way I look at the camera. And I'm not like, hi, I think we should have good lighting and probably smile some. Like that's not confident. It's confidence, and it feels insecure, and it doesn't engage people. People don't go like, "Oh, what's going on? What do you do?" You don't get that. So keep in mind, think about your posturing, and I understand it's going to be scary. So here's one little trick for people that are uncomfortable with going live in the first place, and now I'm telling you to be confident going live. Dude, I just told you I was uncomfortable with it. How is that going to work? So here's a little trick, and it's actually something that one of our old coaches said, and I was like, "That's a great idea." Take your phone, set it up. Write down what you're going to say and put it on a sticky note and then put it in front of the actual screen. You just reading what you're saying, you're not paying attention to the screen. So you don't see yourself looking at yourself. You don't see if people are joining. You don't see comments. You don't see anything. You're just looking at the little ball camera next to your phone, right? You just boom, cover this up and you're just looking right here, right? And you do that and then you talk about what you talk about and then you rip that thing off and press end. Done. You're done. All right? Do that. Try that until you get more comfortable. Then you remove that sticky note. Then you start talking to yourself, which seems odd at first. And then you start engaging with the people that are talking, and you can kind of move forward from there. But nonetheless, it is incredibly important. One of the other things to do is put engagement at the first in your mind. Meaning, my goal when I go live is not to try to talk somebody into joining one of the groups. It's not to try to talk somebody into becoming a coach. It's not to try to further my career or what I get out of this. My number one goal is engagement. So how do I create engagement? Well, I talk about stuff that I think people are going to want to hear, or that I think, hey, I'm going to share something that I learned. Because you know what? We think that everybody knows something, right? If I learn that, if I go in and learn that some new trick with my iPhone, I'm going to think, well, everybody knows that. It's not a big deal. They don't. They just don't know that, right? And some people do, but some people don't. Doesn't matter. So if I go in and I share, hey, check this out. I just learned this, man, with my iPhone, and it's really cool. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if I do this and this and this, you know how you do this? Well, it's so much easier. And you're sharing that. Hey, that's great. You're sharing a little bit of value there. And that value is typically something that people are like going to want to comment on and they're going to want to engage with, right? Your number one goal is, I'm trying to get engagement out of this. I'm not trying to get something out of it. The way I get engagement is I think, what can I add value to people for? You add value through laughter, right? You do something funny, something educational, or something that's entertaining, right? Something that can be inspiring, or just, like, oh, that's I never really thought about that. That's kind of good. Hey, like new things that you learn about recipes, or a workout that you did, right? Just think about something that you might want to know, or that you think other people want to know. Share tips, bust myths, right? Stuff like that, where you know what I used to think? Think the way you used to think before you stop the way you think now. So I know that was a long one. So follow me here. Think, how did I think before I became a coach? How did I think before I started these programs? What was my mindset then? I know where it is now. How did I think then? Now, how do I bust through those thoughts? How do I blow the curtain off those thoughts? What I can say is, man, you know what I used to think? I used to think that, for me to post a lot of stuff online was really like pretentious. It seemed very pretentious to me. Like, I'm sure some of you feel that way, right? Like, how often have you looked at somebody's post online where they're showing a photo of themselves, and you look at them and it's like, all they do is share these photos of themselves doing stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, dude, is that all you care about? I used to so be like that. And then I actually started recognizing, like, I have some friends that started sharing stuff that was about them, but like, when I started reading the post, I started realizing, man, that's really like inspiring, because they were sharing like some struggles that they were going through and some things they were getting through. And it totally changed my perspective on how sharing can be so magical in so many ways. Like, yeah, I mean, now I share myself online, but I would never do it to impress people. I'm not that impressive. But man, if I can share something I'm struggling with and it affects one of you and makes you feel like maybe you can do something, that's amazing to me. That's such an incredible opportunity, right? How cool is that? You share stuff from that kind of framework where, your goal is to take the myth that you had and then just break it open and just be honest about it. Hey, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, and this is what I found. It's that same kind of framework. I know how I felt, right? Because I felt that way, and this is what I found. Now let me share that. That also works with written posts too. That's not only live, but live works really well for that, and live gets six times more visibility. So obviously no branding, curiosity marketing. So people ask, like, what is curiosity marketing? Curiosity marketing is simple. It's people, I think, overthink what it is. It's really just this. You just don't say a bunch of promotional crap. Just don't say, I love my favorite Beachbody cup. It's amazing. Hey, I'm drinking, and then write Shakeology. I'm drinking Shakeology out of my cup. It's the most amazing thing. Nobody gives a shit. Oh my God, please stop. Nobody cares. That inspires absolutely nobody. What it does at the very best, your best case scenario, if you hashtag 80-day obsession or hashtag Beachbody or put I'm a Beachbody coach or Shakeology or any of that stuff, right? If you hashtag that, share photos of it, put it in your post, the very best scenario you're going to get out of that is that somebody's going to look at it. They're going to be inspired somehow. Oddly, they're going to be inspired. Maybe they've been following you, and then they're going to go Google it and go find it. And you never even got the opportunity to talk to them about it. You didn't even know, because they just went, bam, Google. Oh, sweet, Beachbody. Okay, download it. And then what's going to happen if they do talk to you about it is they're going to reach out to you and go, hey, I just got 80-day obsession. I'm really excited. Did you have like a group or something I could join, or have you? And you'd be like, awesome, really? I wish I would have. Because maybe, FYI, this isn't about you missing out on a sale. Maybe 80-day obsession wasn't the right program for them. maybe PIO was a better program for them because they have problems with their knees, and maybe they shouldn't be doing any high impact. They just saw what you were doing and got inspired. But had you had the opportunity to have that conversation with them by not saying any of that stuff, then you would have also the opportunity to let them know, I know you like the idea of 80-day obsession because it is amazing. But with that said, let's start you on PIO because there's no impact, and you can actually get some of that, get some of the weight off a little bit easier on your knees, and then we can move you into that, right? That's now we have the opportunity to truly help somebody and not just, oh, God, I got a sale out of it. So there's a big difference in there, and that's why it's so important when we say don't brand it, emotion, not promotion. It's like literally if there's anything that you take away from this at all, and most of you already know, but if you don't, emotion, not promotion. Speak to why you love what you do and why you're excited to be doing what you're doing. Speak to what you're struggling with. Speak to you and your story, and that's it. Do not say any of the names, and it's not because you're trying to hide things. It's because you want to allow people the opportunity to have a conversation with you about something so that you can do your best to change their life the way it's supposed to be changed and help them pick the program that makes the most sense for them to reach their goals, not just whatever your agenda is because you like 80-day obsession, if that makes sense. So that sounded really harsh. I didn't mean it to. I'm just being very honest and real about that particular part. It's a big deal to me. Be a real human, right? So don't schedule your posts with third-party apps. It shows up that it was scheduled by a third-party app. It doesn't look real. People don't like it. You can use Facebook's native scheduler. That does not sound right. They're native scheduler. So you can in groups pre-schedule your posts. That's fine. Nobody realizes it. Facebook allows it. They have a little schedule. There's a little clock down by the little post button. There's a little clock. You click on that, tell it when you want it to schedule, it'll post it. I did that through our group all day today because I wasn't going to have time to go post in the little the Coach Open House all day. So I just scheduled a bunch of them and then went live and had Jessica help me out as well. So so just don't use that. It just doesn't look real. It's not a real human. It doesn't look like that. No branding, and create your own content. Speak how you speak, and start the post with emotion. Okay, emotion attracts. Yes, so a lot of things. So this is something that I'm actually trying to work on right now, but this is still a big deal for both of them, Instagram and Facebook. Speak the way that you would speak if you were just talking to somebody. So imagine that you're in that coffee shop, right? And you're just having a conversation with somebody. You're just talking to a friend, right? Speak in those words. So literally, right? Like I've been really trying to do this. I'm more apt to be like, right? I don't say I say, you know what? This is some crap. Like that's how. But when I write things, for some reason, I write them as you, Y-O-U, know what? That is some crap. That's not how I speak. So it doesn't sound authentic when you read it, and it's not really truly who I am. So there is a lot to be said, even though it may seem grammatically incorrect, and that's probably where I'm like, I don't want to look stupid, right? There's a lot to be said for building that tribe. People are going to read that. We had a coach for a while oh my gosh, perfect example. We had a coach for a little while who, when she would write messages to me, I literally could not read them. It was so misspelled and so like many random words. It was a different language. I legitimately, like, and Gianna was too, we were looking at him like, what does this say? I have no clue what this says. But people, man, she would get so much interaction on her posts. People would freak. They loved it. She was very raw. She would just drop it and say exactly what she wanted, however she wanted. And she would just, y'all, YOLFOKIN, like just like, what are you because people recognize that, you know what, you're being honest. That's you. You're not trying to be anybody else. You are authentic, and people relate to that. And they connect to that. And you're going to lose some followers over that. You're also going to gain your tribe over that. So you're going to let some go, and you're going to bring some to you. It's really, truly, like, I'm not telling you to go out and act crazy. I'm just saying, like, be honest. However you would type that way. However you would talk, type that way. Use that. And then again, yeah, it gets back to think like you used to be, right? Think the way that you used to think. Step back and think, how did I used to address these problems, or what other concerns did I have? How did I used to think when I thought about, working out or whatever, right? And tell that story and recognize that not everybody sees your story. As we found out through all of this, do you know why we're talking about this? Because Facebook doesn't show your post to shit unless you actually proactively try to get them to show it, which is doing stuff like this. Like, there are so many things that people don't see. So we have to actually be really, really, really active about how we post things and what we say and why we say it, right? So that people will actually see what we're talking about, right? So that we have the opportunity even and talk to people and have conversations and build relationships. And so with that said, it also just basically solidifies the idea that, guess what? People don't see what you're posting. So if you've said something a few different times in a few different ways, don't think that people are going to get bugged because they see it. They don't see it. They just don't. Like, we have to say things kind of over and over so that people have different opportunities. And most people have to see something over and over again anyway before they actually act on it, like 7 or 12 times, right? So just expect that it's going to be part of the process. We need to start thinking and think, okay, stop thinking about how do I think right now about this opportunity or about these workouts or about the nutrition plans or whatever. How did I used to think? What did I need to figure out that got me to a place where I was open-minded enough to try the groups? Talk to this person over here. Talk to these concerns. Talk to these struggles, right? Share that. And then that will translate into putting somebody in a position where they can grow into where your mindset is now. Does that make sense? Thumbs up? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? Or just anything in general? Any social media stuff? Or anybody have any insight? Anything I missed there that somebody's got some expertise in that wants to share? Bless you, Ben.
You know, I did notice that because I tended to really want it to be well written in, like, when I very first started. So I would, like, over edit my posts to make sure it was all written well. Once I started putting, like, the words I do use in real life, the ones I was kind of afraid to use, I swear a lot. I did find that I started connecting better with people because they are like, that's how I would say that, or, you know, they wouldn't say that, but they can, I think they can feel it more the way I meant it.
Totally.
I still over edit, but still.
Totally. And there's one thing I want to share, then somebody else has a question, but one thing before I forget, another great tip especially for Instagram, but I actually think this works for Facebook too. And I'm going to I use it for Facebook. Deanna was following some training or saw something, but either way, she followed this girl, and I will share. Deanna, do you want to share that post that you sent me in the team page about the different VSCO filters?
Oh, that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. That website.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I found it on Pinterest.
Okay. So there's a website that you guys can access. Okay. So two things. One, obviously every photo that we have is edited. Obviously, like, I edit everything. I don't edit it to completely change what I look like or to hide anything. I edit it because I want to amplify it to make people actually stop and look at it and go, oh, that's a pretty photo, right? So because I recognize that people are scrolling through a feed. If it's going to be a photo, they've got to stop on it because it catches their eye. Otherwise, they don't stop on it. They don't see it, right? So all those things matter. There's a great little app. If there's an app, I use a few apps on our phone, on our iPhones. There's one called Snapseed from Google, which is incredible. There's one called Facetune that I use. I use all three of these on every photo, literally. And now there's VSCO or VCSO. VSCO? Let me look at it. VSCO, I think it is. And I use them all on every photo, but it's VSCO. But it's actually really, really, really solid. But there's also a link that we'll share in the team page tonight that you can actually go through, and it shows all these different looks of different photos. And it tells you, if you're using the VSCO app, exactly how to create that look, right? So it'll be like these settings on the app, filter this, turn up the brightness +2, this stuff. And it creates, and they'll show you like 4 photos, these four different photos and what they look like. And so you can kind of scroll down and find your theme, the one that you kind of like, I like this look, right? And then you just go, okay, well, I know exactly what filter to use. I know exactly what settings to use. And then you create that little framework, whatever, that little filter, that kind of like, specific filter that what you like in your presets. And then you just pop your photo in there, hit that preset, it's done, you move it out, and you're ready to go. So it's a really good way of creating continuity on an Instagram page, right? So that all your photos have the same kind of feel so that it looks pleasing when you see it, right? As well as to create some continuity on your Facebook page the same way. So I'm just starting to do that now. Some great filters. I love them. And we'll make sure that we share that. Another tip that she shared was, she's like, and I started doing this. I'm like, oh, this is something that I needed. She goes, I take photos in a very specific order. And so what it is she goes, a photo of me, full body. The next photo is so one day, full body. The next photo would be just torso. The next photo, just my feet. The next photo, not me in it. Full body, torso, feet, not me in it. Full body, torso, feet, and literally just recreates that. So if you look at her Instagram page, it literally is left to right. Oh, there'll be a whole body of her. Then there's a torso picture. Then there's one of just her feet and something. And then there's has nothing to do with her. And then the next, and you see this kind of like little idea. I'm like, oh, that's really solid. And then all you have to do is just work out. So like the other day, I took a picture of my feet because my ankle, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll take a photo of my foot. Benny's here. I got an issue with my ankle. I can talk about that. Done, right? Maybe the next one will be, it doesn't have to be about your full body. It's just a photo of you and talking about whatever you want to talk about. And then it's just like, you just know, you don't have to think, well, what am I going to take a photo of? This one will be of my full body, and this is what I'm going to talk about. And then you put it through the filters, they all have continuity. And then even like during the holidays, I'll make sure that there's something red in every photo during the holidays. So it'll be that same filter on everything. It'll all look kind of like you had that continuity, and then there'll be a splash of red somewhere. I'll go grab something, a red sweater, and just lay it over the back of the couch. Just something to add that color. And it's really just kind of creating a feeling that when you look at that page, it's like, oh, kind of it resonates with you, and you either are attracted to it or not. But when it comes to Instagram, that's what it's all about. It's all about the photo. We all know that. Like, it's about talking with the photo. Facebook is about the story, right? But still having that continuity in your Facebook, I think, is smart, because at the end of the day, if somebody goes, oh, that's a Hickox post in my newsfeed, because I know it, because every time you post, I see something like that, great. Then your followers are going to see that, and they're going to stop, because they're not going to just scroll by not knowing who it is or not thinking about it. If they're interested, they're going to stop and go, oh, it's Hickox. Yeah, I want to read what he wrote. What did he say? So I think that's really important. I'm missing these chats. Sorry. Does anybody have somebody asking questions? Anything here I'm missing? Okay. Does anybody else have any questions that anything else that they want to ask or that hasn't been answered? Just go ahead and raise your hand if you have anything else. Everybody good? Anything else they want to share?
Was a question answered about the posts, scheduling posts? Somebody had said that you weren't sure where they were at, the option to schedule posts. Am I reading that right?
Did somebody have that question?
On my iPhone, I don't see it, but like when I look at Dusty's Samsung, she has it right there on her phone. But my iPhone, I can't find it.
Yeah, I don't have mine on my iPhone. I can't schedule them from my iPhone. I can only do it from my laptop.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it on my iPhone either.
So it must be an Android thing.
It
Which
could
is
be.
nice, because Android never gets anything first, so good for them.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it on mine either for it. So I don't think. No. I don't think you can. Not yet. So I'm sure that'll be an update at some point. But right now, I think it's Android specific, or laptop specific. But realistically, you just do it on your laptop and you just spend a Sunday, do it like spend 5 minutes, just post them all in, and then you're done with it. And you don't worry about it anymore.
Well, sometimes I create like creative things on my phone using one of my apps, which I can't get on my computer. So that's.
What is your computer not Mac? Is it like is it a PC?
It's a PC, but I have the whole Creative Suite. I can create my own stuff on my Creative Suite, but it's faster to do on my phone.
Can you just email it to yourself, like after you create it on your phone? Email it to yourself. I do that all the time, or else I'll AirDrop it or something like that. Because I do all the creative stuff on my phone, and then if I'm typing something long, I'll want to be on my computer because I have fat thumbs and I misspell a lot of stuff. So that's an option. It's just another step. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's usually the only way, unfortunately, for now. Anybody else have any questions or anything? Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys' time tonight. As always, thank you so much. And, if you have any questions, you know where we're at. Otherwise, you guys have a good night. Everybody enjoy the evening. Bye. Bye, everybody.